Hi, quick little lesson on the product rule. Today is we're dealing with chapter 2.3, the product rule, page 122 in our calculus book. Okay, what is the product rule? So check it out. The product rule is used when we have the product of two differentiable functions. That means we have some f of x times some g of x. So basically two things that have an x associated with it, and we can't multiply it, or it would take too long to multiply it all together. Maybe it's a cubic and a quadratic and something else. So we have that situation happening. So the derivative with respect to x of f of x times g of x is regular f of x times g prime of x, or the derivative of g of x, plus old g of x, regular g of x, times the derivative of f of x. So f of x times the derivative of g of x times g of x times f of x. Now I've kind of color-coded these in red and blue so you can get the difference there, but write that down. A lot of people make little acronyms for these, or they use A and B, and it's A, B prime plus B, A prime, something like that. Make it easier for you. Okay, first example number 1. Let's say we have 3x minus 2x squared, and multiplied by 5 times 4x. We'll label this one f of x, and we'll label this one g of x. And so, when we do that, we take regular old f of x times g prime of x. So here's f of x, and then we take g prime of x. Remember from the original here, g prime of x. So if we take the derivative of a constant, that's 0. Derivative of 4x, we take the 1, we bring it down, it's just 4. Plus g of x, regular g of x, times the derivative of f of x. Derivative of 3 of x is 3. Now we have the derivative of negative 2x squared. Bring the 2 down, and that's 4. So negative 4x. All right. Then we're there. Now we got to do is distribute. 4 times 3x is 12x. 4 times negative 2x squared is negative 8x squared. Plus, we got a binomial here. We can FOIL it, whatever. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. 4x times 3 is plus 12x. 4x times 3 is positive 12x. 4x times negative 4x is negative 16x squared. Then I color-coded these for you so you can see. I match up my x squareds. Negative 8x squared plus negative 16x squared is negative 24x squared. And then we have my x's are 12x, negative 20x, and positive 12x. That's positive 24x minus 20 is a positive 4x. Then we have just 15 all by itself, so there's 15. Okay, next example. Example number 2, here we go. So in this case, we have the derivative of sine, which is, the derivative of sine, if we recall, is cosine. The derivative of cosine is negative sine. We're going to need that for this particular situation. So let's give it a whirl. Here we go. Come over here a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So now we have y is equal to 3x squared times sine x. Okay. So we label this one f of x and this one g of x. Here again is our product rule. F of x times g prime of x plus g of x times f prime of x. All right, so f of x is just old f of x, 3x squared. Bring it down. The derivative of g of x, well, the derivative of sine is cosine. So we brought in the cosine. Then just g of x, that's just sine. And then f prime of x, well, 3x squared. We take the 2, we multiply it by the 3, and we get 6x. So we simplify 3x squared times cosine of x plus 6x sine of x. Now we can see we can simplify this a little bit more, so we can factor out a 3x. We get 3x is equal to x cosine of x plus 2 sine of x. And there you go. All right. I recommend you watch that again and take notes on it and be ready for class. Thanks.